The drugs talking with Prince Harry? Exactly what is going on? That is the big question being asked over here in the United Kingdom, particularly by senior members of the British monarchy. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. Nice to see you. A bit of a blustery day today. Yes, we've got that winter feeling back, you know. I know you know the feeling. Yeah. It's terrible, isn't it? You think, oh, it's all right, you know, get the thin clothes out. Yeah, and then you can't get in them either, can you? Have you noticed? Let's have a big wave today. Whatever you're doing, do keep safe and well, keep warm. I know it's a bit chilly if you're in the United Kingdom right now. Not quite sure what we're going to expect. When you turn on the weather, apparently we're going to be all covered in snow. Yes, let's just leave it there. We'll think of cheerier things, shall we? As ever, though, back to your breaking royal story of the day. One of the big things that's rather upsetting, particularly for the Prince and Princess of Wales, is their sort of, shall we say, narrative that they're now listening to and hearing all about, well, you know, the former royal known as Prince Harry. I mean, openly speaking on camera about his drug use, which of course was well known within inner royal circles. Where everybody knew that Harry was rather fragile, and this wasn't really anything to do with the trauma that he's talking about, but simply because he couldn't get over the fact that he didn't have a leading role. You could dress it up in any which way you wanted. It was jealousy. And the bottom line was, you know, that nobody really dealt with that jealousy, and then it's manifested itself. But according to a very good source close to the Prince and Princess of Wales, they are really baffled by this new narrative that Harry's come up with because, you know, he's talking about being from a broken home. He's talking about feeling isolated, never really one of them, never part of the same family. A lot of people might be saying, well, of course, you know, who came up with this script? It pushes a lot of buttons, asks a lot of questions. But here's the deal, you see. According to that good source who worked alongside Harry when he was part of the Heads Together Foundation alongside the Prince and Princess of Wales, they spoke at length openly with Harry, and he often praised just how brilliant his father, King Charles, was at coping with two teenage boys. Obviously, a lot of assistance, a lot of help. More so, of course, from our late and beautiful monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, who did a lot to ensure that they had a very stable upbringing, particularly on summer holidays up in Balmoral. They were living free lives. Williams openly said that. And then, of course, Harry's gone on to say that he just felt simply, you know, cut adrift out on his own, all of that sort of stuff. Let's not forget, of course, that it was Harry's own turn of phrase where he decided not to spend as much time with his mother as he could have done because obviously she was out partying, she was out meeting various people, going on jaunts herself. So it's two-sided coins. It depends on which side of the trauma you want to base yourself. But William in particular is hurt with this narrative because it's rather, you know, shall we say, scurrilous against his father, who he openly admitted spoke to them both at length, spent a lot of time with them, trying to develop them as individuals, but more importantly, for the bigger world. And then, of course, Harry said, you know, that he'd really reached his peak by entering the army. That was where he felt most at home. He developed brand new friends and felt ready for the world, wanted to return back to royal life with greater plum. And he even spoke about this with William and Catherine, and they were rather relieved. The only turning point in this new version of Harry, this new story, is the fact that even though, as I say, both Catherine and, of course, William, alongside Charles and Camilla, knew of the indiscretions regarding drugs that Harry had, it was manageable. You know, it was talked about openly. It certainly wasn't swept under the carpet like some great revelation that Harry's trying to point out. The bigger problem is this: they simply don't recognize this new, brand new version of a story, of which now Prince Harry is presenting to the world. This wasn't the story that William or indeed Catherine encountered during the latter stages of a very close and fruitful, you know, brother and friendship with this particular individual. So it's strange to wonder or think exactly who concocted this particular new narrative. And is it new, or was it simply concocted for money? Let's not forget, Harry's making a lot of money out of his own autobiography. And while he says he's not looking for sympathy, endless interviews and live streams say differently. As ever, I'd love to know what you think to this particular inside royal story in the comments below.